It is almost my favorite time of the year. It is almost Halloween, and for that reason, I am back at Vian Galactic Space Yards together with Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Pretty good. He really loves Halloween, so every year he says, "What can we make?" Last year he mocked up, tuned up a skeleton.
Right, that was because I was stuck far away from here, and there was no way of coming back home. So yeah, I decided to do that. And I actually showed you some tricks that I learned from Paul in that video. So if you want to see it, just check it out. So last week I asked you, Paul, do you have any trick or any idea what we can do this year? And you came up with something.
Yes. My idea is, yes, let's do a skeleton too. But let's get away from the classic mummy skeleton, pirate skeleton and everything. Let's do a cyborg skeleton.
A good part of the idea is to actually build a skeleton from scratch without using something you buy at a store, right?
Yes, that's. I build props for films. Dummies are very often asked for. So this is not just for Halloween. If you do stuff like for theater and whatever, where people won't buy like a prosthetics corpse or something that's very expensive, or you can do stuff with very simple materials and pick from what you have. And you can make we make dummies for throwing off bridges, for burning, for all these things. So a lot of them get destroyed, and you don't want to use expensive stuff. So the basis can be very simple to make with most likely what you got at home. Here's a spare dummy that was used for burning at the pyre. This one was made to be stuffed with rock wool and burned at a funeral pyre, and it's made from branches for the simple reason that they grow in front of my house and I have to cut them away all the time.
How do you find the proportions?
The proportions are very easy. You don't need a picture. You got an original here. All you need to do is you take measuring. So we need some rods. In this case, we take some metal, some plastic, bamboo, whatever you happen to have, broomsticks. And then it's really usual suspects. Jigsaw, you'll probably need it. Pipe cutter, well, I have one, but you don't need to buy one. We need some scrap wood, especially some plate, plywood, chipboard, whatever. Screw gun, screws, some normal hand tools, drill bits. You'll need some wire. In this case, I also have some of this technical, whatever you call it, band with holes in it, some zip ties, and go for it. I take my upper arm. We got approximately, let's say 35 centimeter. I shortened this by, let's say 4 or 5 centimeters. That's 2 inches for your imperials. In this case, this is the tool we do not use. We could do this with an axe, probably. We got 2 upper arms. We lay them out a bit so we remember where they go, because they're all going to be sticks and stuff. I'm just going to take some different stuff now. Let's say this is the shoulder. So I'll shorten them a little bit to here. Now, little thing, I want to make this cyber skeleton with the idea that the mad professor in his basement built that, and he used some human or organic parts. It's just a vague idea, and we got a real cheap, extreme cheap skeleton here that was actually background skeletons for a film, post-apocalyptic thing. So I'll use either the whole leg, or maybe I'll add some, definitely we will add some stuff, but it gives it a bit of this icky idea that somebody used human parts to build this thing.
Okay, so you use different materials.
Yes, I use them on purpose because we want to make the cyber skeleton that the mad inventor made in his basement.
Okay, so we have arms, we have legs,
We have shoulders.
we have shoulders.
Now we do a spine. The spine is a bit of a special trick I'll show you on this skeleton. We do segments so the spine becomes a little bit flexible. So we make the spine from about, in this case, from about this height down to there, which...
Should I measure?
Yes, not too precise, from about here to about here.
Would be about 76.
76, okay. Now we first we got 76 and we reduce it a little bit because I have to do it to 70 because we're going to leave little spaces in between so it moves. So this is... This is a nice rigid spine. Of course, we're not going to do vertebrae. We're not going to do an anatomical correct skeleton. We're going to do little pieces, not small pieces like vertebrae, but about this long will probably do.
By the way, Paul is a professional, so
Yes.
he knows
Usually
how to
you
use-
put this down really tight, you hold everything well. This is a very powerful jigsaw, so it allows me to do some things, and yes, I'm using it since a long time, so I'm using it almost like a sculpting tool. So, here's our spine. I decided to, instead of this one, use a square piece because it makes it a little bit easier to fix things onto afterwards. Take some screws, washers. 2 per spine piece will be probably right. Yes, now the next thing is we put the spine together with wire. You can use wire, string, cloth strips. Again, what you got. What you got's gonna be okay. Yep, there we got a spine. Two more things. We need the hips. You can, take them off there, make it a little bit shorter. You can also make them wider for a woman or whatever you feel like. That's the gender reveal moment. The hips. Bump. And now for the head, what I'm doing, I'm giving a platform at this level.
Probably around 20 max.
Okay. Let's just say 20. And yes, you can go into all kinds of geometry things if you want. Or you sort of do it like this. Let's give them a little bit more flat front. And something like this. This is just to save my fingers. So this will come on top of here. Approximately centered. Don't put it too tight so your hips can still move a little bit. That. And that's all the skeleton parts, the basic things. The next thing is going to be drilling holes into all this and joining them with wires. As I said, you can also use string if you don't have wire. Wire is much easier to use, but not essential. Twist them well so they don't come off. Okay, now, one thing is, as we've seen in the other dummy, we don't want elbows to go backward. There's different ways of doing it. Actually, on this skeleton, we're going to be later doing it a different way. But since we're here, I'll show you one simple option that you can do. At home, you take a strip of somewhat solid cloth, maybe fold it double, take a screw and a washer. Maybe this will just wind up. Okay, so we put this on the inside of the elbow. It's really a nice touch, so your skeleton automatically doesn't go into unnatural positions. Okay, so you got naturally working limbs in case like you throw your body off a bridge or something. It won't go into unnatural positions. They use these things, simple tricks, a lot. Even if it's beautiful dummies, like you got that old Indiana Jones, people flying off the bridge, moving arms while going down. It was some kind of a rubber band trick, which unwound as far as I read. And yes, the limbs may not go into unnatural positions, otherwise, you can do the shot again. And you don't always want to throw a stuntman off the bridge. Okay, when you spray paint this, don't waste your spray paint. I used old cans which don't spray very nicely anymore. And what you do is what's important, just give it a cloud, a mist at a distance over it. Give it different ones, maybe darker in the corners or something like that. But just give it an impression of paint. Don't try to paint cover everything. Looks much more patina, it looks much better. And it saves you 4 times the spray paint.
Okay, so while our skeleton is drying up outdoors, we came back in here, and what are we doing next, Paul?
We're going to give it one realistic hand, fairly realistic hand for a cyber skeleton. Very cool trick. You put your hand down on a board, give yourself a drawing. Now, we cut it out, but not completely. We're going to cut it to about here. Not a complicated cut, actually. Let's leave some stuff off for the thumb, so we can have an opposing thumb. Very primitively, I'm going to cut this. So, we put it in there. We do our good old, put in our good old washers for wires and screws. What we do is at the base of each finger, sort of the knuckle, we give it a screw. Not all the way down yet. Now we take a good length of wire at one point, let's say here. Leave some slack so we can fix it easier later on. Turn it around. Give it a little bit of space. Okay. Yep. Fix it. Now, we still have the drawing of the finger up there. We make the finger length, maybe just, half a centimeter longer. And actually, we should be wrapping it once more for stability. Of course, it's not high precision. It shouldn't be. It's a fast, easy trick. We cut this off. We already have a basic hand. Now we take some pipe. It's really not important, pipe or hose pieces. We take small pieces about the length of a finger segment, a little bit shorter. And we put it over here. I mean, if you want to do something really good looking, you can use aluminum pipe. Or if you do an actual dummy, you can put a glove over it. A little bit of hot glue, just so they don't slide around too much. And that's nice. Next thing we do is we give it a little bit of a spray. I went on a theme of goldy black silver, and again, do stuff from a distance. Just give it a bit of a cloud, not an intense car spray job. The nice thing about when this is dry, we can bend this and give them, for instance, the pliers in their hand. For a pretty easy trick, that's not bad, is it? Same thing, we twist the wires a bit. Fix it whichever way seems good to you. And now he's got a hand. He can hold something. There you go. Okay, ribs. Here's one way of making ribs, and there's 100 other ways. Again, not precise science for this purpose. If you want to make a realistic skeleton, you need other things. If you make a realistic dummy, you measure and maybe cut out some plywood stuff. Of course, this could be pieces of garden hose, it could be strips of cardboard. Again, a bit of foggy stuff, different colors. We got a beginning of ribs. And now we get rid of all the heavy work stuff, and we actually get into the fun part. Now we're gonna give them some life. If you envision the pictures you've seen of skeletons and anatomy, you know that there's a lot of tendons and veins and everything running around. And that's what we're going to do with cables and wires. So we got cables and wires, all scrap. If you don't have the scrap wires, look at the electric dump site. Very good place, best place in the world. If not, look at the dump of construction site. Look in your cabinet, all the old games and crap you have. You have so much. So what we're going to do first, I'm gonna run this beautiful bundle of wires down his spine. Okay, with the wires we can also put some pipes in there, that whatever you got. It could be bigger ones, smaller ones. Now, if you want knee bending, don't forget that you have to consider it before.
So, since I've been to the dollar store, I could not resist on buying stuff, and I found one of these little party light things, those string lights or light wire. I think it's an LED kind of wire. Paul, can we do something with this?
Of course.
Of course.
The great thing about this way of working is you got a great platform. You got plenty of space. You have wires all over. You can run additional real wires. And let's just see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And we find a good space for it.
And,
We'll find a good home for it.
let's see. Well, it's not super bright, but it glows.
It doesn't need to be super
it
bright.
strobes even.
Skeletons are meant to be seen in the dark. We run it down along the spine. Let's do. Yeah, that's a straw from some, you know, fashion drink thing. Yeah, something like this. Yes, now, hey, we're high tech, right? So, we got a box full of electronic circuit boards and the like. You surely have some old electronic crap at home. It's full of it. If not, go to the electric dump. Look at it, you know, look in that cabinet that you got that you're afraid to clean. So, let's see. Start out. Should we give him a brain? That looks good stuff. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oopsie. Oh, we even got a hard drive. Just dump some stuff out of there. I want to put this first piece of brain a little bit up. Take some shiny metal parts. This looks good. And now we're going to be brutal. This is brain surgery. There we go. Hey. Yeah. We can even stuff something in between. In general, you know, don't do everything with hot glue because it's not the most stable. Optics, we want the guy to see well. That's a bit on the heavy side, but it's a possibility. This is all from wrecked cameras. This is also a very cool piece, but so cool I'm not sure I want to waste it for. So
we found something.
We found something. I think that's a good basis for the optics. We got our trusty metal junk box with shiny metal. It's actually not all metal, some of this plastic that's shiny. If you don't have a shiny metal box, look around. Plenty stuff in the trash, metal trash. Okay, we're pretty far. We slept in full of stuff. We want to put some light diodes in there. And now, for those of you who don't like the solder, there's a simple trick for light diodes. You take one of those little button batteries and you check that it has 3 volts. If it has 3 volts, that's what they take. So what you do is, you put them in between the 2 contacts, and you got your little blinky light. And in this case we can put 2 on them. There, that's pretty good. And now we put a piece of tape over it. Everything works with tape. And now what we actually want to do, we want to give them a heart, right? We're working with a heart. So, as usual, clean wrap. We put it together a bit. We spray glue it up a bit so it sticks together. We make a bit of a ball and we stuff those in there. And if it doesn't look good, we might just give it a little bit of a heat shrinky thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Put hot glue on there. Now we got an Android with a heart. I mean, what more do you want?
So it is 3 hours later. We spent the last 3 hours slapping on stuff, and it is almost done.
It is pretty much done. We slapped on any junk that looked good.
A lot of junk.
If you do it, don't hesitate. Don't try to plan. Go for it. put stuff on, hot glue, screws, that's all we did. Bunch of wires. And then in the end, what I do is I put a bit of black spray, just as a mist, over it. Again, it gives a sort of patina and it blends the different parts in. That's really what happens.
It blends everything together. We have sound effects even.
We have sound effects. We have a Klingon
heart
cruiser
beating.
on there.
Do you put some black spray on the heart as well, or
We can do a very
maybe
little bit.
just to blend it a little? Yes.
Give it a little bit of contrast. Yeah.
Looks like dirt in the heart. So I think we should hang him now
Yeah.
to reveal his entire
We can
dimensions.
see him.
Of course, we will show you some nice shots afterwards. But for now, as we haven't hung him yet,
Okay.
we should get him up and
Yep.
bring him to life.
He's pretty free here.
Yes, I will go around here.
Okay,
This thing came pretty heavy, I must say.
Yes, we put on loads of junk.
Let's put him here.
Okay.
There we go.
Yep, there we go.
There he hangs.
Hmm.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So he's still nameless, and we thought it might be a nice idea if you guys can name him. Let us know in the comments. I think we will set him up right now in the right pose and in the right light, and then we will show you his entire detail. And yeah, I think after all, it's a nice build. It took a while, but you know, for Halloween, I like to spend time on things like this. So as Paul,
So do I.
And as you can see, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to the channel, all that nice stuff. Let us know how you liked it in the comments. And I think we'll see you on the next one. Until then, thank you, Paul.
Have fun.
See ya.
Happy Halloween.